you, Yasuyuki. It was a nice introduction, so thank you for introduction, but also for all of us coming and participating in this presentation. So as you heard from Yasuyuki, my name is Blaženka. I'm professor of mathematics at the University of Zagreb, Faculty of Organization and Informatics. So I worked with the IT students, so not students of mathematics, but students of information systems and so on. And since our students are usually interested in, of course, it's natural, in technology and using also technology for learning. So our group, mathematicians that have been working at the Faculty of Organization Informatics, try to introduce as many innovations that are, of course, meaningful in our teaching process as we can. So today I'm going to present some innovation that we introduced this academic year. So, of course, that this rapid development of artificial intelligence actually have been discussed a lot because some people see it as a threat to fairness and reliability of assessment, and others opportunity to introduce some innovations and also for changing assessment. So, of course, we can discuss it, how we feel about it. And at this conference, we also have one panel discussion on that topic. So I'm not going to broaden it right now, but if you're interested in the topic, we can discuss it a little bit more later. So, if we are in a group 1 or group 2 as mathematicians, for both groups, actually, it is an imperative and need to respond to the contemporary artificial intelligence challenge that we are aware of. And assessment in mathematics, when we think about it, usually consists of 2 types of tasks. There are routine tasks. Of course, we should teach our students, and they should learn how to, I don't know, do some simple task like finding derivatives or multiplying matrices. Of course, it doesn't mean nowadays it is the same as it was probably 50 years ago, but still there are some routine tasks they should think about it. But also there are much more challenging and I would say interesting problem-solving tasks using mathematics. And that is this problem-solving tasks are quite, I would say, interesting to how to use ChatGPT in that respect. Of course, when we talk about routine tasks, they can be part of a summative assessment even today when all sorts of support coming from technology and especially AI student can use. But then we should have kind of a proctoring system or some huge bank of tasks the students are getting actually the exercises from, because. And it is what mainly people have been discussing lately in the last couple of months. It is a question of academic integrity and consequences of misconduct. But here, my main emphasis is on problem-solving tasks, because they can be very valuable part of student assessment in mathematics. And they can take different formats, smaller problem-solving tasks that can be part of some time limit summative tests like colloquium or some monthly tests and so on, or more demanding tasks that the students usually prepare at home and then report in form of, let's say, essay or some oral presentation. And this, the last one, actually, it was our main idea to give actually student opportunity to openly partner with artificial intelligence and then critical analyze the results. We have approximately 300 plus students, first-year students. These are IT students at our study program. And what we actually, how we started this exercise. So we give them the description of their individualized problem solving exercises. So we have approximately 40 different exercises and descriptions. So it means that there are a few students that have the same exercise, but it doesn't matter because when we check the results, we talk to them, there are oral examination and so on. So it's not such a big problem. But then our typical exercise is problem solving, and they have presented the solutions in form of essay, so in written format. And this essay consists of theoretical background research about some topic, smaller task because there are freshmen, so first-year students. Then solve some problem, not too difficult, but still for them it can be demanding on the first year. And then conclusion with generalization and reflection. So we have used this form for probably 15 years, but this year we try to enrich it with additional instructions how to use ChatGPT or some similar chatbot. So we use this kind of a format as an essay before, but not with a ChatGPT, of course, because it wasn't available before. And then we related that for the very clearly learning outcomes that linked our task to individual problem solving, structuring mathematical text, using tools for mathematical text editing, correctly using references, so different sorts of, let's say, not so mathematically high level cognitive outcomes, but still very useful. And then how we prepare it. So students reported the results of their interaction with the chatbot. Also, they were asked to detect potential mistakes and further research the mathematical topic to solve a problem. So we asked students to be careful also with terminology, because of course they should use Croatian standard mathematical terminology. They should be very, we try to also look at the rigor of definitions and theorems and so on. And finally, students analyze the problem solutions and critically evaluate their interaction with the chatbot. And when they prepare it, they submit it within the Moodle. So we used also scoring rubric for assessment of that essays. And these scoring rubrics, of course, are criteria based. And all these criteria we of course gave this criteria to given this criteria to students before submission, of course, so they can accommodate their results. And then after that, we also collected feedback from students related to this exercise via Moodle questionnaire. So just let me explain how this kind of exercise fits into the whole picture of assessment program in mathematics at our courses. So you can see here several courses we have, and then this exercise I'm reporting right now, it is related to the mathematics 2, so it's a first year, second semester. So this essay with problem solving is a part of the, let's say, summative assessment here. And you can see that students in the first semester, they have essay, but simpler one on some mathematical topic. And after that, on the second year and the fourth year, they will have much stronger problem solving with programming and more mathematics. So it is a kind of a beginner's part here. And then, of course, we also use e-quizzes with as a e-assessment type of quizzes on a formative part of assessment, some bi-weekly assignments. Again, all these assignments and quizzes are e-based, so it means that we used databases with thousands of different tasks and questions that we use for student formative and also summative assessment. And then you can see here that in a total grade, we have 3 tests. So 60% of the grade is related to this summative closed book e-exam. Then 30% of the grade formative open book, but individualized exercises. So, for example, if you have one quiz, there are several hundreds of different questions that are very much alike, but not similar, but not the same. And here it is this essay, 10% of the total grade. So it contributes to the total grade with a 10%. These are some exercises, example of the task. Unfortunately, except for one person, as far as I can see it, you're not able to read it because it's in Croatian, but sometimes it's good to look at the exercises in other languages than just English. Yeah. So let me just explain how it looks like. So the first on the left, you have one example of an exercise that's a problem-solving exercise that students should look at the mean value theorem for continuous functions on a closed interval, then see what are the different options, what are prerequisites, when they can use it, explore it, write it, probably prove it, and then after that solve some simple and then more demanding tasks that are probably for mathematicians not very demanding, but for a first-year IT students, it can be really hard for some of them. And then another example, some exploration about learning curve. And then this is also the scoring rubric. So we have several criteria, and all these criteria have been described on different levels, and this type of a rubric with descriptions have been available to our students all the time. And now we are coming to the results, what we actually get out of that. So since it is only 10% of the total grade, not all students opted to work on that assignment because it was not obligatory, but you can see that quite many of them, 226, submitted this assignment. And you can see here, so the maximum in the rubric, in this radar chart, you can see the maximum, this blue line means the maximum for each criteria. So criteria are covering the topic and mathematical correctness. It is actually the weighted the highest, then solving task, then text processing and graphs, how they prepare it with the tool and how they describe it, then referencing and language, actually to use references and the correctly listed references in the text as well, and also very important conclusion about the problem solving. So it means generalizations, analyzing different solutions, learning paths, and so on, but also reflection on how the ChatGPT, mostly it was ChatGPT helped them in their task. So you can see here on the right-hand side also a representation how successful they were by criteria. So they are usually above 60%, so 60% success, and they're quite good at problem solving, at solving tasks, but not so good when they have to analyze or reflect or to find some generalization. But again, this is all these criteria, as you can see here, have been met very similarly. Yeah, and then we analyze also different clusters of students. So you can see here that students that usually are better, so have better grades, they almost all of them opted to also prepare this this essay based in this partnership with ChatGPT, and they scored better. Of course, students that were lagging behind probably opted for some other options, and let's say that probably quarter of them or even third of them in this category here actually didn't submit the essay. And then if you look at some comparisons, so again, 72% of all students submitted the essay. Then all students with a total higher than 61% submitted essay, and almost all students that at that time had more than 50% of grade success. And if we compare it with the last year grades, last year, so in 2022, students didn't use any chatbots, but at least not openly. It was not available at such a range a year ago. But the results were very similar. So we used, as I said, this scoring rubric. So even though several people worked and scored, several teachers, because we have this instrument of a rubric, I think that this kind of instrument contributes to the reliability of the results. So we can see here then last year, the average was 6.66 and this year 6.64. So again, it is the results are quite similar. So we can say that this kind of using some additional help didn't help students to score better, because they again should meet some criteria in that process. But actually the result is quite okay. Then students need to further develop their mathematical rigor. So it's not just this year's students, but the last year's students. So we have a problem with the mathematical rigor, how to really convince them and teach them to express, for example, definitions or theorems in a correct format. As I said, our students are not students of mathematics, but students of IT. And then a little bit more about student feedback. So just to remind you, after submission of their essays, we ask them to students to fill also some questionnaire. And these are some results. I think that they are quite useful because they have some closed questions, but also some open-ended questions. So we got hundreds of different comments from students. So obviously they were motivated to give us feedback. And then you can see here that we have response rate 72%, so quite high. And we ask several questions. So students said that usually their workload was between 15 and 18 hours. I would say that it's not so very high. I would expect, student workload planned, it's between 15 and 18 hours, just to explain it, because it is 10% of the total grade, and the weight of the course is 6 ECTS credits, so it's approximately this, what it was planned. But you can see here that there were students with, they used even between 1 and 8 hours, and many of them used between 6 and 10 hours to prepare the essay. But of course, there are different grades as well. Yeah? So those that invested less, of course, are not getting the best marks as well. And then we asked them which chatbot they used, and most of them used ChatGPT. but there are some other answers, and just a few students didn't use any help of AI in that process. And then it was interesting, they said that 83% of them had used chatbots before that exercise. So it means that they are quite, it's quite common that students are using that. So why not to give them instructions how to use it correctly, and also how to reference that they use some kind of help, and to analyze the results as well. So then we asked them about usefulness, how useful it was. And you can see here that they said that it was quite useful in theoretical part when they explore some topic. So you can see here that these are the marks. The one means it wasn't good for me, and then 5 means excellent, and very good is 4, 3 is good, some average, and so on. So these are the grades that are used in their work, because we have these 5 grades for grading students' work as well. And you can see here that they're quite positive about usefulness in theoretical part, not so when we are talking about problem-solving part. So I would say that they use the chatbot in very similar way as they would use internet or some other search machines. And then these are some comments. For example, for theory, one student said, or actually wrote, chatbot didn't give any information in Croatian, so it is very English oriented still, and in English it was very general. Then another one said, all the solutions that the chatbot offered me matched the literature, so I'm happy because I was able to check everything. So this one was positive. And then the theory is not entirely correct. For example, this mean value theorem, one student that used the chatbot in that process said that chatbot forgot about that the function should be continuous. Just write the theorem without that. So it was very good for them to analyze what actually chatbot gave them and compare with some other references. So it was useful. Then about the problem solving part, one student wrote, it gave me procedures that I couldn't find on the net, so it was good. And with the help of that, I was able to solve that part of the task. Another one, chatbot gave wrong solutions in the specific task. And the third student said, I solved the task without the need for AI tools. So he was confident, or she, I don't know, she was confident and did it without it. Then it was the part about the further research, and also the finding references. And you can see here that usually they are not using chatbot for finding further references. That was pity, because probably they can be fine, and they use it for the further research. So for the research, they said it gave me the necessary arguments which I expanded and applied for conclusions and analysis at the end. Then most things it started correctly and explained thoroughly. And then, for example, finding additional sources and references, it gave a general title but not concrete reference. Then good and useful sources. It mostly returns literature that cannot be found online. Interesting. Yeah? And then it is very funny, this last one. I asked it to write me some literature where I could find information on the subject, but he only offered me books by René Descartes. Of course, these books are not available so easily, and especially not, it was these books, it was not easy for students to read it even more. And then to conclude, so I would say that it was very useful exercise for students and teachers, because students were asked to critically evaluate what they got from this interaction with ChatGPT. And also it gave us teachers valuable feedback from students, how they use the tool and what we can prepare some new instructions better for the next year. And of course, we should think about it, how to integrate it more, but meaningfully. And then, not surprisingly, that better students, so those with better total grades, prepared stronger problem-solving tasks, but it was the same without or with Chatbot. It shows that development of critical thinking as a part of a problem-solving is vital. Then there are still many things to analyze, because we haven't had time to analyze all the student feedback, and especially on the open-ended questions. As I said, there were hundreds of comments there, and also further analysis of essay results may bring some new insights in that. We as a team also are quite interested in learning analytics and assessment, validity, reliability of assessment. And if you are interested, you can check the references you can find here. I just put this free reference, some recent papers on e-assessment and learning analytics and assessment validity and reliability. So at the end, I would like to thank you for your patience, and I'm looking forward to questions and discussion. And let me emphasize that we've been also working and coordinating one European project, so financed by EU, innovating learning design in higher education, and you can see it also behind me. It is the banner with the title of the project, and you can find some additional material on this link. And I hope that I will see you next week on a workshop about learning design. So thank you. Yes, Yuki, I hope I didn't use too much time for.
No.